attach.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Latoya Gorey. I am the Executive Director of the Terminal Workforce Enhancement Programs for Edgemoor and CWC on the KCI Single Terminal Project. And with me today are Chris Allen, our Workforce Training Program Coordinator, as well as Ms. Kate Sweeten. She is our Head of Marketing. Thank you for joining us for the virtual information session for the Workforce Training Program, which is a component of the Terminal Workforce Enhancement Program. So our agenda for today is we will walk through what is the Workforce Training Program, construction industry expectations, Workforce Training Program expectations, our class schedule, program stipends, and other services. We'll also share with you details of how you can apply for the upcoming program, and then we will have questions. If you have any questions or concerns during the presentation, please use the chat on Microsoft Teams to type in your questions, and we will address them. So what is the Workforce Training Program? This program is a 3-week paid classroom training program designed to provide access to careers in the construction industry for all Kansas City area residents that have little or no construction experience. The WTP curriculum focuses heavily on soft skills. Construction math skills will be covered for a full week. Job site safety, first aid, and CPR training will also be provided to all trainees in the class. We will cover financial literacy, diversity and inclusion training, which is very important for this industry and any job that you might have, as well as any trade-specific involvement. Any participant who successfully graduates from the Workforce Training Program will be hired by one of the subcontractors on the KCI New Terminal project, and you will be entered into a union pre-apprenticeship program. So what that looks like is that after you apply and you interview with the subcontractors, you are selected for a specific trade. That contractor will sponsor you through the 3-week program, and upon graduation, you will become an apprentice in your apprenticeship program for your specific trade and an employee with that subcontractor. We're currently looking to graduate roughly 200 participants through the entire Workforce Training Program. We have roughly 100 more slots available at this time. We will have 6 classes remaining through the end of, we will offer 6 classes through the end of 2021. Here are highlights of our past class graduates. Class 1, this is Jamil from Raytown. He is an iron worker and sponsored through the WTP and hired by Jay Dunn. His thoughts are that it's always good to wake up in the morning and know you have a career to go to. Not only are you gaining good pay and good benefits, but you're learning a skill you can take with you for the long term. Our Class 2 graduate is Quincy from Kansas City, Kansas, sponsored by Clarkson Construction and hired by Clarkson as a carpenter. It's cool to be a part of something this big and to watch the job site change with what everyone is doing. You get a real sense of accomplishment seeing your work come together. Our Class 3 graduate is Samantha from Kansas City, Kansas, sponsored by Alexander Mechanical as a pipe fitter. I knew I wanted to be in construction, that I wanted to learn a skill. I love what I'm doing now. This is definitely my career. Our union is like a family, and have welcomed me with open arms. And our Class 4 graduate, most recently, Lauren from Lee Summit, Missouri, sponsored as a roofer by Flynn Companies Midwest. I think it's cool that there are so many people from Kansas City working on the project. It's a Kansas City project being built by Kansas City. It's the coolest experience I've been able to do. Definitely a dream job. I love this. The highlights that we've just shared with you are individuals who have never worked in construction and have graduated from this program and have embarked on a lifelong career. One thing that we need to cover that's critical to anyone considering this program are construction industry expectations. A lot of times we found that individuals don't realize the work conditions that they might experience in this industry. And so we felt that it's very important if we go through these with you. First of all, construction work is very hard. It is not for the faint of heart. Yes, you can work 8 hours a day, but more likely on this project, you're going to work 10 to 12 hours per day. Sometimes we have individuals that work 14 hours. Overtime is not uncommon, and you will work on the weekends as needed. There is no I in team, so you have to be very team oriented to work in this environment. You are going to be working on a $1.5 billion airport terminal project, and there are a lot of workers out there, a lot of people in your trade, as well as other people working for other companies. And so you have to have a sense of teamwork and work and togetherness. One of the things you'll learn in construction is that teamwork is critical, and no job can be completed by just one person. You have to be able to communicate. It can be the difference between a well-executed job and a very nasty accident. Safety is of the utmost importance. And so if you see something out there that doesn't quite look up to par, or if you feel that it might be an unsafe environment, you have to communicate. If you have any issues at home that might be affecting your ability to come to work, please communicate that, because we want everyone to be successful. Your employers, your teammates, us here in the office, over the workforce training program. And so you have to communicate any issues that you might be facing on the job or outside of it. We need hard workers. So sometimes you might be asked to move piles of material. You might be asked to climb up on a very high beam or what have you. And so you have to be willing to do the hard work. And if you don't know, please ask and be open to learning. Again, you will work a lot. It's very hard work. Sometimes it's 7 a.m. and it's 90 degrees and 90% humidity already. And then in the wintertime, it's extremely cold temperatures. So you have to be adaptable to varying work conditions. Again, safety is the top priority. Everyone will be provided with PPE or personal protective equipment. It is required at all times. It is a non-negotiable. It will be strictly enforced. You must have a vest, a hard hat, gloves, eye protection, work boots, and face covering. You will be provided the PPE by your employer if you don't already have it. You will go through safety training the first day on the KCI project. Things that you will have to purchase on your own, in particular, are work boots, and they can be rather expensive, so that's something that you need to keep in mind. Certain construction trades are seasonal, and layoffs can be imminent, and as well as furloughs during slow season. You must understand that gaps in work are common in the construction industry. If it's a rainout day, you're not going to work, which means you're not going to get paid. If work slows down, you won't be getting 40 hours a week. You might get 10 to 20. It just depends on what your trade happens to be. There is zero tolerance for drug use in the construction industry, especially on this project. If you are found to be intoxicated on the job site, that is cause for you to lose your job. And no one wants that. And we know that we're all here to you want a great career in this industry, and so we have to stress that drug use is, there's a zero tolerance atmosphere for that. And if you find that you need help with that, it's something that if you're part of the program, talk to us so that we can help direct you to the right resources to get you the support that you need. Again, this is a very safe environment, therefore drug use and alcohol abuse is not tolerated. Workforce training program expectations. I will have Chris Allen, our workforce training program coordinator, jump in here to go through the expectations of the program.
Good afternoon, everyone. As LaToya said, my name is Chris Allen, and as the workforce training program coordinator, it is my responsibility to make sure that I am taking care of the application and screening process in coordination with Kate, our marketing expert, but then also planning the classes and running those classes to make sure that when you show up every day, you see me, you know that I'm here working for you, and also to make sure that I am enforcing the expectations, because we're going to do our best during the 3-week training class to reflect the environment you're going to be working in starting on that following Monday after the class is over. Which means during our class, while you will not be expected to wear the same type of PPE because we're going to be in a classroom environment, we will expect all of our peers, instructors, staff, classroom, everyone will be treated with respect. Any offensive or discriminatory language against any individual or group will not be tolerated, just because that's how the workplace should be. And so we're trying to make sure that we begin to enforce that up front. Regular attendance is vitally important to success in the program. So if participants are unable to attend any of the scheduled classes or dates for whatever reason, you need to make sure you let myself know, let the other staff members know, so that we have an understanding of why you're missing, so we can work with you on that. Any excessive or unexcused absences will lead to dismissal from the program, because we expect to have people waiting in line to be able to get into the program. And so we're going to have some pretty high expectations set, but so will your employers. Masks will be required at all times when you're indoors during the workforce training program, and regular hand washing and cleaning of all frequently touched surfaces will be encouraged. Again, we're just working in the time of COVID, and so everyone should be expecting that. And we want to make sure we keep everyone safe, not just from injury, but also from illness as well. But one of the things that we're going to be making sure that we do is before entrance into the training program, we will ask everyone who has been accepted to perform a drug screen. The use of drugs or alcohol is not tolerated at any time, including in the training locations or on the job site. And if we find out that someone has a positive drug screening or shows up even to the training class intoxicated or inebriated, we will make sure that we address that immediately. If you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, you'll be immediately removed from the premises and dismissed from the program. And that is to reflect the fact that the KCI New Terminal project is a drug-free workplace. And it'll be a 12-panel drug screen. And it's going to be fairly extensive. If any incident occurs, there'll be a drug screen. If there's any cause, somebody has a suspicion, some of the supervisors, they could send you for a drug screen. And if there's any kind of reasonable suspicion that you may be under the influence, you could be subject to a drug screen. So please just understand, when we say zero tolerance, we mean zero tolerance. It's important to note that random drug screens are common in the industry and can take place at any time during a week or during the 3-week training program. And again, after you're employed, because someone who is intoxicated or inebriated or under the influence of any kind of narcotics becomes a safety issue for not just for themselves, but for their coworkers around them and for the construction site itself. And so it really is all about your personal safety and the safety of those around you. One of the things that we will be expecting with entrance into the program will be required documents for employment. This is simply because once the applicants and the candidates participate in our program, they will be going straight to work at a full-time job. As Latoya mentioned, obviously there's going to always be some ups and downs with that, but you'll be required to provide all the information necessary to complete an I-9 form, which is going to be a valid driver's license or state ID. If it's been lost or stolen, you need to let us know that immediately upon application so that we can help direct you to the right place to try to get that ID reissued to you. A Social Security card, if you need to request a replacement of that, you can get that through the Social Security Administration website, and we can get that information to you as well. Birth certificate, if you need a copy of your birth certificate, where you were born, what state you were born in will determine how you get that. If you're born in the U.S., you can call the Vital Records Office in whatever state you were born. If you were born somewhere outside of the U.S., contact the U.S. Department of State, or you can even contact the hospital where you were born. A lot of times they will keep those documents on file. We're also expecting everyone to have a high school diploma or GED. And if you've been to college, we would also like to see a college transcript. You can get copies of that by contacting your high school, the GED program, or the college directly. And a lot of that is simply because the trades that we're working with will require a driver's license if you're going to be driving any sort of heavy equipment or any sort of machinery. To get a license or to get certified to drive that equipment, you'll have to also have a valid driver's license. And the Social Security card, birth certificate, or verify your availability to work in the United States. And then most of the trades, if not all, are going to require either a high school diploma or GED. And any additional education you've had beyond that simply makes you that much more marketable to some of the subcontractors that we're going to be working with. When it comes to safety guidelines, again, if it seems like we're being redundant about this, it's because it's this important. The workforce training program is alcohol and a drug-free environment. Employees and contractors are required to comply with workplace drug-free policies. And again, that is because it is a safety concern, not necessarily because we're concerned about your out-of-work behavior, but that behavior can and will affect your workplace environment. And safety is so important here that it's just not tolerated. First aid kits and fire extinguishers are available in the training area, as well as the workplace. Where it's going to abide by all OSHA standards and things like that. But even in the training area, those things will be available. Any incident that happens that would be considered a safety incident, any sort of injury, regardless of its severity, please make sure you report that to us to let us know, because we have some very thorough checks we need to make sure that we are in the process of doing, because we want to make sure that the environment that you're learning in is completely safe and healthy for you to be there. Any concerns you might have about that, if you feel the safety topic is not being adequately addressed at any time during the training course, please let us know. And that could be everything from, you notice that one of the chairs has a loose piece on it that could break or snap in the middle of training if you lean on it just right. Let us know that. We will make sure we get that chair replaced or repaired. And failure to comply with the safety guidelines may result in dismissal from the program and or denial of future training programs, because again, safety is, you're human beings. You're very, very important to us. And so we take your safety and your well-being very, very strongly. We want to make sure that everyone not only gets through the training program in the best shape possible, but you're people and you're valuable. And we want to make sure that you're treated as such. And that everyone around you is treated as such, and that even us as staff, we are treating each other that way, and you are treating us the same way. So let's go ahead to the next slide. When it comes to the schedule and stipend and additional services, The class schedule is going to be from Monday through Friday for 3 consecutive weeks. So it'll be 150 hours of training. And the daily schedule is going to look a lot like the work schedule when you get ready to go to work at the terminal. And that is, we're going to start at 6:45 every morning. Yes, 6:45 a.m. I know it's early, but that's about what time the construction sites get started, if not even earlier than that. We'll take a break in the morning about 9:30. We will have lunch then about 11 o'clock, from 11 to 11:45. Have another break in the afternoon as everyone starts to get kind of that lull, because we know you've been up a little earlier maybe than some of you are used to. But then we'll be done by about 3:15. And then on the final Friday of the class, graduation will take place at 4 on that Friday. And not only will we be doing some of that in class for the participants, but it'll also be online virtually so that other people can attend, because we have limitations about how many people we can have, obviously, in their rooms at the same time. And we'll provide links to that so you can share with your friends and family, so they can log in through their phone or tablet or computer, so that they can experience the graduation, because we want to make sure that we celebrate the accomplishments that everyone that finishes and passes the class has done, because it is a big deal, and we'll be very proud of you once that takes place. And then the next slide should be program stipend and additional services. And so just very quickly, there will be compensation for those of you who are in the 3-week training class. Participants will be paid a weekly $400 stipend for a total of $1,200. That stipend does count as taxable income for tax purposes, and it is your responsibility to make sure that you are taking care of all of your taxes. Talk with a tax professional or for proper payment of federal, state, and local taxes. The training center is in Kansas City, and so there's also that Kansas City 1% tax. You will not be paid for any days absent or hours unattended based on a prorated calculation. And so if you can't be there that day, we will deduct that money from your stipend, just as if you had not gone to work on a regular work day. We can also provide certain transportation assistance to get you to and from the training facilities. And so that may be provided to alleviate any transportation barriers you may have, but it is your responsibility to coordinate transportation needs in advance with us. If you call me at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday and say, Chris, I can't make it to class today because I don't have any transportation, that's going to be really difficult for me to deal with, because we need to make sure that all of those needs are taken care of in advance. I'm not saying we won't do our best to help, but it just, the more notice we have, the more we can plan and prepare for that. Also, extended childcare hours. This program covers the costs associated with the extended early and or late hours at certain childcare facilities, but you are still responsible for standard childcare rates. So make sure you coordinate any extended childcare needs in advance with staff. So that means, since we know our classes start at 6:45, you may have to drop your child off at a childcare facility very early, and they would normally charge extra for that. We can help you cut the cost of the early time up until 6 or 7, whatever that normal time is. You can start, but then you are still responsible to make sure that you are paying childcare for the regular school day. And then we will be providing breakfast, lunch, and refreshments and drinks throughout the day. And I have been told to make sure we have plenty of coffee. So we'll make sure that we have a catered lunch and breakfast every day throughout the 3 weeks of the training, with snacks and refreshments to make sure that everyone has every possible resource they can to succeed. And so we want to make sure we're taking care of everyone. So now I'm going to turn this back over to Latoya. She's got a couple other things she wants to continue with.
All right, thank you, Chris. So I want to go back to the transportation and extended childcare hours. Those are programs that are separate from workforce training, but they are part of the Terminal Workforce Enhancement Programs Agreement. The transportation assistance, it is provided through the Kansas City Area Transit, through the KCATA. We do have, when you are on the project site, we have as it stands today, we have a dedicated route that will transport workers from 12th and Charlotte directly to the project site. It's the KCI 5529 bus route. When you're in the training program, as Chris stated, you will need to arrange your own transportation. But again, KCATA is offering free ridership to all Kansas Cityans, so you will be able to access their routes to get to and from the actual training site, which is not held at KCI. The extended childcare hours, we have partnered with 5 childcare centers around the city, and you can enroll your child or children at any of those childcare centers. We will only cover the extended hours. So once you start working at KCI, as you start to incur overtime, which means that your child will be left at the childcare center longer than is required by the childcare facility, we will cover the extended childcare hours that you incur while you are working at KCI. So how do I apply? Step 1, between January 18th and 29th, you will go online to www.cwcjv.com/WTP to access the WTP application. You'll complete the application there. At the end of the application, you'll be directed to complete the MoJobs online registration. Both of these steps must be completed in order for you to move forward in the process. So the first step is to complete the program application on our website at cwcjv.com/WTP. Once you submit that application, you will be prompted to go to the MoJobs website to register online there. Once you've completed those 2 steps and MoJobs registration is successfully completed, you'll be contacted with details on how you can schedule your in-person WorkKeys math assessment at the Full Employment Council. Application step 3 will be the applications will be reviewed and top candidates will be invited to an in-person interview with subcontractors currently hiring workers to work at the KCI project. Step 4, if selected, you will be contacted and required to complete a drug screen within 48 hours. At that point, you will be informed as to which class you'll be enrolled in. We're currently seeking to enroll for Class 5, which begins in March. Applicants not selected for the current class will be considered for future workforce training program sessions. Again, we will have 6 classes through this current year. Our class schedule is as follows. Class 5 will be held March 1 through 19th. Class 6, April 26th through May 14th. Class 7, June 7th through June 25th. Class 8, August 2nd through August 20th. Class 9, September 13th through October 1. And Class 10 will be November 1st through the 19th. Please note that these dates are all subject to change, especially during COVID. We will notify and publicize any dates that might change or that might fluctuate throughout the year. And now we are open to questions. I will now share in the slideshow and turn on video. And Kate, if you have any questions that have already been entered in the chat, please call them out.
Excuse me, we do not have any that have been submitted via chat so far. If anybody has any, they're welcome to submit them at this time.
They might ask.
Right, Maurice.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Maurice.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can.
I have a question about the trades. Do I have any decision in choosing?
Yes, you do. We will provide information at the subcontractor interview day, as well as at the application day at FEC. At the FEC, we'll provide you with information on the various trades. The information can also be found on our website. If you know ahead of time what trades you're interested in, always have that in mind. We do not practice assigning individuals to trades of which they're not interested in. We will give you the option to interview with multiple contractors that are seeking to hire for various other trades, but we do want everyone to have an interest or an idea as to what trade they are seeking to be hired in.
So before I commit to the 3 weeks training program, I won't know what trades will be available. I have to complete that first, then find out the trades.
Right. So typically, when you are notified to show up to attend the subcontractor interview day, we'll let you know what trades are being offered at that time.
So, okay, I mean, do I wait or can I ask my next question?
You can ask your next question. We do have someone else after you,
Okay.
though.
Okay, so with the union pre-apprenticeship program, so we do the 3-week course with workforce. Then you said we enter into a pre-apprenticeship. So the actual apprenticeship is not guaranteed.
So here's the process. So you are a pre-apprentice when you are in our 3-week workforce training program. The day you graduate, well, during those 3 weeks, you will go down to your apprenticeship program. You will apply. You will understand all of the requirements of what that trade requires for you to be an apprentice and to apply for their program. Some trades will give you a probationary period where you're like a pre-apprentice for a certain amount of time, but the majority of folks graduating from this program, the day you graduate, that's the day you become a first-year apprentice with your trade apprenticeship program. And then you will start the path of learning the trade-specific skills that you need for that trade over several years. Does that make sense?
Kind of, almost. So if I'm the ideal worker and candidate and pass everything with flying colors, will I be guaranteed a union job?
So this is a union project. So whoever graduates from the workforce training program, and once you're enrolled as an apprentice with your apprenticeship program, you are a union worker on this project.
Okay.
Your level, depending on what your level as you matriculate through your apprenticeship program will change, but you will start out as a first-year apprentice on the project.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. York?
Hi. I was wondering if we do successfully complete the program and get on as a pre-apprenticeship thing, what are the health benefits like, if any?
So that is determined by your trade union. And so everyone's
Okay.
benefits vary. And you will get all that information once you graduate from our pre-apprenticeship program and become a first-year apprentice. You will get all that information as you start paying dues with your trade union.
And graduation from the program guarantees that I'll be a pre-apprentice?
You will be a pre-apprentice. You are a pre-apprentice while you're in the program. When you graduate, you become a first-year apprentice. And you begin paying dues to your trade union. And so
what does
sometimes the unions, that means that's when you become a union worker, as you start working and start paying dues to your trade union. And there will be a probationary period with your trade union where you might not have health benefits day one, but you might have to wait 30 to 90 days.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
LaToya, we received a question asking if we accept applicants with criminal records. Would you like to answer that?
Yes, we do accept applicants with criminal records. And it does not have any bearing whatsoever as to your acceptance. Your success in this program, it really does hinge upon your work keys assessment, your application, your work keys assessment, that identifies as to which trade you're best suited for, and your attitude. And if you show up every day and you work hard, and it's really how you apply yourself. Your background has absolutely no bearing or weighting on your success in the program or any other trade. Sean Davey.
Yes. Hi. I'm wondering, is there an age limit on becoming an apprentice?
No, there is not. We've had various age ranges from 19 on up.
On up to what? Sorry to
Well,
say.
I can't really share, but I mean, we've had someone start another career, and she was probably in her 50s. So it's all about your
Okay.
attitude. And if it is, I will tell you, the work is physically taxing. And as long as you're able to, if you have a good attitude about it and something that you really want to do, I mean, it is an adjustment for everyone. But we've got people out there rocking it, and they are not spring chickens by any means. They are not, right out of high school.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. I see a few other hands, but I can't see their names. Jalen?
Hi, I have a question. On the website, the CWCJD, is everything going to be on there for us to apply on a certain time or day, or are you going to do it on the 18th or do it as soon as possible?
On the 18th, the application becomes live, and that's when you can go to the website. So January 18th through the 29th is your window of time to apply.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Chris Rochelle?
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I'm wondering, you mentioned that this is a program for people with little to no construction experience. What if someone does have construction experience?
I think so. We've had individuals apply for the program who have some point of reference in construction. The most critical piece is that you are not a current member of any trade union.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. We've had people who've had more extensive experience in residential construction and want to get into commercial, and this was a great entryway for them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I have a lot of clients who have kind of miscellaneous, just kind of picking up construction work, but have never been a member of a union, so.
The only issue with those folks is the safety piece. Sometimes they come from construction in which it is not the safest working environment, and they like it. And so when they get in our program and then they get out on the job, they struggle with the safety requirements. So they just have to understand that they're going to have to take their safety up several notches.
Yeah, for sure. This is kind of a new way of doing things. So.
Yeah, we've had people say it's too safe, I don't want to be here anymore, and they leave. So that's been, stories, or people who say, I'm not used to being, tied to a cable for safety. I'm used to being up here kind of like winging it on my own. Well, it's an adjustment, and they either get with it or they decide, it's not for them.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Lexi?
Hi, I was wondering, how long does an apprenticeship usually last?
It depends on the trade. Some can last 3 years, some can last 5 years.
Okay, what if like something happens and you don't complete it? Is it like school where you can like go back to it?
I believe so. You would have to, that's a question for the trade apprenticeship coordinators, that you would really have to, have that discussion with them. And so I do believe that as long as you're paying dues, that they will still accept you.
Okay, and then one more thing, like let's say you're in an apprenticeship, but then you move like out of state or something, like could you pick that back up in another state, or would you have to start all over?
Again, that depends on your trade. It's interesting that you're bringing that up. We just had a graduate who was a member of a trade in another state several years ago, maybe over a decade ago, and he was trying to enroll in the Kansas City area chapter of that trade, and he was blocked. He wasn't able to just kind of move over or transfer from another state. It's very trade specific.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Maurice? Jalen, do you have another question?
Hi, I was wondering, like, I was wondering if you email me the steps of the process of the application.
If you
Anything I
could
missed out
enter
on?
your, okay, if you could enter your email in the chat box, we can put you in our database.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Maurice Henson, do you
I
have a question?
Yeah, I apologize I forgot to unmute. Are the wages set during the probationary period, or are they trade dependent?
So every trade starting wages are different. And so what we try to encourage people is to understand the trade that you're getting into and really want to, and really be passionate about that trade. But all of the wages are established based on the collective bargaining agreements and the actual trade. So we can't tell you what the starting wage will be for everyone. But you will learn that once you're accepted into the program and you're assigned a trade.
And trade assignment is after the 3 weeks?
No, trade assignment is done during the interview process, and we will, once you are accepted into the program, we'll tell you which trade you were selected for.
So I'm selected for a trade, I don't choose a trade?
You can tell us which trades you're most interested in, and as you interview with the subcontractors, you will ask them what trades are they seeking to hire for. And at the end of the subcontractor interview day, we will get the information from the subs as to who they have ranked or who they want to be, who they want to sponsor through the program. And then once you are selected, we'll tell you which trade you were selected for based on your interview.
Okay, thank you.
Now, we do have people who come to the subcontractor interview day and they say, hey, I only want to interview with subs that are hiring electricians or plumbers. And if that's what you want to do, then that's okay.
Yes, that's what I was interested in, electrician. I have a journeyman's
Okay.
license, but I was interested in using this as a venue to get union labor.
So you have a journeyman's license with which trade union?
I mean, I took the program at the Votech school, and I'm not with a union. I just have a journeyman's certificate, so to speak.
Well, that's something that you'd have to take up with your trade union. So if I were you, before you start this process, I would go down to IBEW and have that discussion with the apprenticeship program.
Just having a college credential for the electrician, that could exclude me from this program?
It could, because this program is designed for pre-apprentices, for people to be pre-apprentices in the program and then their first year apprentices once they graduate from the program.
Okay.
If you could follow up, if you could follow up with me directly, and I can connect you to the individuals down at IBEW to have a discussion.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any additional questions? All right, well, thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see your application soon and hopefully at the subcontractor interview day. Good luck to you all. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to us via email, or you can follow with us through the CWC JV website. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.